I searched for workout videos myself when I was pregnant. And honestly, it was all this kind of like, lift your leg, make sure you breathe. And I was like, listen, I worked out prior to pregnancy. Like I came into this pretty fit and now you're telling me to drop all the weights and just do these leg lifts. And this isn't really challenging me. So I kind of set out during my second pregnancy to create workout videos that were for women who came into their pregnancies very active with a very active lifestyle. And whether they were athletes previously or whatever.
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast. I'm Stephanie May Potter, and I'm here with my co-host, Marnie Dotches-Marmette.
We created the Art of Living Well podcast to empower you to live your happiest, healthiest, and most authentic life. Each week, we will bring you inspiring and motivating conversations covering health and wellness topics, including fitness, mindset, food, travel, product reviews, and strategies from a variety of experts, including our own bank of knowledge.
We are excited to educate, motivate, and inspire you to change the way you perceive health and discover your art of living well. Get ready to feel inspired. Hello, and welcome to episode number 73 of the Art of Living Well podcast. Before we dive into today's episodes, we have a couple of announcements for our community. We are so excited to finally introduce the Art of Living Well membership tribe, which we are planning to kick off in May. Marnie and I have been working on this, and we're creating it just for people like you who deserve to find their art of living well. We know how great you feel when you're taking care of yourself. The problem is this can be hard to implement and sustain over a long period of time, and we know how much confusion exists about what your body needs to thrive. So we've created this tribe, and it's all about helping you feel amazing in your own skin and having a community of like-minded people, along with 2 board-certified integrative health practitioners and health coaches to hold you accountable to whatever you want to achieve. When you're part of our membership tribe, you will have access to Marnie and I for 2 live videos and Q&A sessions each month. You'll get short guided meditations, recipe books, a private daily support chat within the community, and so much more. Marnie and I also wanted to share that we have our own club now, our own official club on the new app called Clubhouse. It's an audio, social media-based app, and we love this platform because it allows us to interact live with people. So you're able to share your story, ask us questions, meet other people. It's really a great way to network with various individuals around the world. It is invite only, but each of us have invitations that we can share. So message us or reach out if you want an invitation. Follow our club. It's called The Art of Living Well, and we hope to see you in one of our upcoming rooms, which I said are typically Wednesday afternoons around 1 o'clock Central. And finally, before we dive into today's episode, we want to ask that if you're enjoying this podcast, if you could please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcast. Doing so takes just 2 minutes, and it really helps us reach more people so that others can benefit from the inspiring conversations and resources that we share each week. If you enjoy this episode, we'd love it if you would share it with a friend, family member, or anyone who you think may benefit from this information. And of course, we'd love for you to share it on social media, take a picture, and tag us. We are so excited to welcome today's guest, Lindsey Bomgren, who is the fitness-loving content creator behind Nourish, Move, Love. Nourish, Move, Love is a health and fitness lifestyle site devoted to helping women create a lifestyle and body that they love through quick and effective workouts, simple and delicious recipes, and faith-based devotionals. Lindsey is a well-known expert in the online fitness space for women and has more fitness certifications than I can mention. Lindsey started Nourish, Move, Love in 2015 as a blog to create and sell 20-minute home video workouts. She then learned that she could make a living sharing workout videos for free by monetizing through website ads, brand partnerships, affiliates, and more, and has been working tirelessly ever since to create and share her online workouts. Lindsey doesn't film workout videos just to give you that six-pack abs or a nice butt, although that may happen. She films workout videos because she knows that fitness makes her a better wife, mother, friend, and human, and she wants to share that with you too. We couldn't agree more. We had so much fun talking with Lindsay about her journey and how she's created this amazing free platform for people all over the world. I love doing Lindsay's online workouts and discovered them early on during the pandemic. She has so much energy. I love the variety of her workouts. You can find a workout for any duration. If you only have 10 minutes in between picking up your kids at their activities, Lindsay's got a workout for you. I know some of us by now may be getting a little bit tired or lacking motivation to work out at home as we've been doing during the pandemic, but Lindsay is such an amazing and spirited group fitness instructor. She's cheering you on and motivating you to keep going and push yourself. She also offers a lot of options and modifications. You literally feel like you're in the studio with her. Her workouts are perfect for everyone from the beginner to the more advanced level student. And she has HIIT classes, body weight classes, barre, yoga, stretching, kettlebell. I just love the variety. And I also love that she focuses on strength, which is so important for women as we age to protect our bone health. One of the super interesting but somewhat unexpected topics that we discuss in today's episode is how important it is to strengthen our pelvic floor for women. And so for all you moms out there, especially, you will not want to miss this conversation. Lindsay's motto is pray often, move your body, eat your veggies, love others and yourself. She's your personal trainer at home, and if you aren't already a fan of her online workouts, you will be soon after today's episode. But before we dive into this energetic and fun conversation with Lindsay, let's hear a word from one of our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by our wonderful sponsor, Appetite for Change. Appetite for Change is a nonprofit in North Minneapolis that uses food as a tool for health, wealth, and social change. This year, in light of COVID and the unrest in Minneapolis, Appetite for Change has continued to ground themselves in their mission and center their work around community connection and nourishing food.
They launched a pilot program called Community Cooks Meal Boxes, which provides fresh produce and pantry items, plus 2 recipes for over 300 families at no cost to the family. The program has been such a success that it has been extended for another 6 weeks and will continue into 2021. AFC has utilized the kitchens of their 2 restaurants, Breaking Bread Cafe and Station 81, to produce over 200,000 meals that have been distributed across the Twin Cities to healthcare workers, seniors, and families in need.
In addition, they have 7 farm plots across North Minneapolis that are tended to by community members and Appetite for Change youth learning how to grow a variety of plants. These fresh fruits and vegetables are distributed throughout the North Side. Even in 2021, Appetite for Change is committed to building a more equitable food system by delivering fresh and nourishing food to healthcare workers, seniors, and families in need, tending urban gardens, and more.
We have been collaborating with Appetite for Change over this past year, and we have loved their dedication to their mission, and we so look forward to volunteering with their organization and working with them more in 2021. To learn more about Appetite for Change, listen to episode 31 of our podcast with one of their founders, Michelle Horowitz.
For more information or to donate, head on over to appetiteforchangemn.org/impact or on Instagram and Facebook at Appetite for Change. So before we get started with Lindsay today, we just want to do a shout out to all our listeners. We're so excited to have listeners coming from India and Mexico and Canada and Australia and the UK and Spain and so many other countries. And we love that this base is growing every week, and we are so grateful for you. And with that, we're going to get started with Lindsay. We're so excited to have you as our guest today. We met you at an event hosted at Modern Well for Emerge Mothers Academy a few years ago. And we loved your energy and enthusiasm, and we're just really excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So everyone has a story, and we would love for you to share yours and your journey with how you came to found your business, Nourish, Move, Love.
Yeah, so Nourish Move Love is an online platform. You can call it a blog. I like to think of it more as just like a website, basically. We are a media outlet specifically for fitness content. So basically what that means is I put out workout videos. I am a group fitness instructor and trainer, and I film workout videos and put them on my site as well as on YouTube to make workouts free, fun, and accessible for everybody at home. I specifically kind of target moms because that's really when my lifestyle shifted to the at-home workout lifestyle. Having kids kind of changes the game for you. But that said, we have men that do our workouts. We have 20-year-olds, we have 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. So we kind of hit everybody, which is really fun and exciting. The whole goal is to bring that group fitness experience into your home and allow you to do that when you can't make it to the gym, which we know has been the case of a wild ride of a year. So I feel very fortunate that COVID and the pandemic has boded well for my business, I should say. But kind of how it all started is basically I graduated college. I played college volleyball. So I've been an athlete my whole life, loved fitness, always loved health and fitness, but thought I was going really into this like business career, got that desk job that I really wanted, and then was like, I can't sit at a desk all day. This is just not for me. So I got into sales, which was great. And then they gave me really the energy of owning kind of your own business, right? Sales, there's right. Your performance is kind of how much money you make. All these things are based on how you perform. And I loved that. And I really, as I dove more into fitness, I knew I wanted to make that a career. I just didn't know how, because to be honest, as a group fitness instructor, you don't make much money. You do it because you love fitness, right? And you can only teach so many classes a day. It's physically demanding. And so that's when I kind of decided I wanted to take my fitness business online. So I continued working my sales job, set aside my commissions, and said, for 2 years, I'm going to set aside all of my commission. I'm going to live off my base salary. And then I'm going to try and quit this thing and take this money I've saved up and launch a business online. So that's what I did. I don't know if I thought I was going to be like the next Tony Horton from P90X. But I was like, I'm going to put all my money and I'm going to film these workout videos and I'm going to sell them online. And that's what I did. I hired this video crew. I filmed these workout videos. A funny story of filming them. I actually had stress fractures in my foot and ended up we were supposed to have 12 videos. They were going to come out on this DVD series. Remember workout DVDs? That was a thing. I was filming these workout DVDs and we got to video number 11. I did a jump squat, came down, and my stress fractures turned into a complete fracture. Oh. So there was only 11 videos in the first series. We filmed through a broken foot. You could see like me wincing in the videos. I'm like trying to make it through. I'm like, this is my life savings I have spent. We are going to film these workouts. But anyways, long story short, I ended up putting them on a site thinking that I was going to sell them, which I did. And I'm glad I did it because it led me to meeting a lot of people through the whole journey. But selling workout DVDs was not my end game. As you know, the space has changed and shifted. And I saw people in the space of food bloggers basically creating recipes for free. And I was like, well, how can I do that for workouts? I don't want to charge anyone if I could give them away for free, but how do I make money? So I really dove into kind of that blogging space. And then it's just evolved. So we've been in business now for almost 6 years, like coming up on 5.5, 6 years. And finally finding that stride, it has been a lot of work and really glad I've powered through. I will say that because we are finally finding our true rhythm and pace. So basically like my competitors are who I'm trying to beat out every week is Women's Health, Shape Magazine, these huge media outlets. We're fighting for space on them with Google to climb those ranks for the 5 best butt exercises or 8 best tricep exercises or whatever that is. But then we're also putting out free content on YouTube and social media and all the things. It's kind of a big hodgepodge, but that was a lot longer than you probably wanted it to be.
No, I had never heard your full story. So that I really enjoyed that actually.
I feel like my mom probably still doesn't even really know what I do. I feel like no one really, you don't really fully understand the space unless you're in it. I think like my mom I think people just think I just like hang out and film workout videos all day. And that is just so not what I do. We are very much content creators and really focusing on SEO and climbing those Google search rankings. And, my number one source of revenue is ad revenue. So the more clicks I can get to my site, that's how I monetize.
Yeah. And that's like a whole full-time job in and of itself, SEO. We won't even go there for our listeners that maybe don't even know what that is. But Marty and I can both appreciate that as entrepreneurs and small business owners.
Yes.
So I have to say the funny thing is when we met, which was briefly at Modern Well, it wasn't until I was not a home workout person. I'll admit I had to go to a gym in my mind. I had to go to a gym. So what the pandemic did for me, it forced me to work out at home. And I actually realized, hey, you know what? You can get a really good workout. And there's actually quite a lot of benefits, as a lot of people are seeing right now with flexibility and all that. But it was my sister who turned me on to you, Lindsay, very early on in the pandemic, because she lives in upstate New York, so not local. And she's like, hey, I've been doing these, like your 30-day programs and some of these other things with Lindsay. And she's like, I think she's from Minnesota. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I actually like met her a year or two ago. So I started going online and doing your workouts. And I mean, I've been like, there's so many obviously out there, so many online workouts, but I love yours. Like your energy, your enthusiasm. I'm like, how does she do this? Especially with 2 young kids. But just maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the type of workouts, because you have this huge variety and I have like sort of ADD when it comes to workouts. I can't do the same thing every day and I don't have the same amount of time. So like talk about all the variety that you have, because you can really fit it into your schedule, whether you have like 10 or 15 minutes or you have a whole hour.
Exactly. I mean, I will always, like I say, you know, we have a variety of workouts that range from 5 to 10 minutes all the way up to, we're starting to, originally I was like, no, we only do 20 and 30-minute workouts. I'm a mom. I need these quick and efficient. We get more people asking for longer workouts, which is always funny to me because people are like 30 minutes a day, not enough. Nope. And I'm like, trust me, you do my workouts, you use the appropriate amount of weight and you push yourself appropriately during those 30 minutes. That truly is all you need. I'm not saying do 30 minutes and then sit all day. I'm saying, you know, still try and get your 10,000 steps in and all that good stuff. But yes, the whole point, like I said, is to make you feel like you're in that studio with me. So I'm a group fitness instructor. That's where I truly found my passion. I did personal training and just wasn't for me. I just love the energy that's in this group. You know, you show up, everybody's there to work harder. No one really wants to do burpees at home by themselves, but you're more motivated when you're in this room with others. And there's just this kind of electric energy. And then I became a mom and I realized how much of a luxury it is to truly take a group fitness class. That said, I grew up in rural Minnesota. So group fitness classes weren't even an option. I would say like growing up for me or my mom was always like Jane Fonda, working out at home type thing. So I wanted to, 1, bring this group studio fitness to my friends who were living in rural Minnesota, and 2, just moms who couldn't make it to the studio anymore because getting there with a newborn, an infant, 3 kids in tow, whatever it is, it's really hard. So just making you feel like you're in the studio with me. So on YouTube, if you search for workout videos, you will find a plethora of videos from, you know, people not talking and just timers and all this stuff. But for me, it was truly making you feel like you're there with me. And so bringing that group fitness studio. So I talk a lot during my videos. I try and teach really good form because I want people to be able to hear that when you're working out at home, still getting those form cues and form tips. And the moral of the story is I have a lot of variety in my videos, but it's the same moves, right? Squats, deadlifts, lunges, the moves that truly work. We just mix them up and shake them up and have fun with them. So,
and play good music.
Right. And yeah, have good music. You can turn up your music in the back. I mean, it's fun, right?
Yes. So just to clarify, the workouts are free, right?
Totally 100% free. So,
which is a huge perk. I mean, listeners, are you hearing this? Her workouts are free. So if you aren't able to pay or you don't want to pay for a membership somewhere, go check out her workouts.
Yes. And we do free workout plans. So if you don't want to go and sort through the 50 workout videos, we have a plan that we send out every Sunday. We send a 7-day workout plan that's like, here's what you can do this week. It's split training. So it gives you an upper body day, a lower body day to really focus on building strength. I'm really a big proponent of women learning how to lift weights and build strength, along with adding, you know, fun HIIT and cardio and mixing it up with yoga and barre too.
I think that's so important because there are a lot of us gravitate towards one type of exercise, and maybe that's not the right workout for us at this phase of our life, this time of the month. I mean, there's all sorts of factors. So I love that you have that plan option to help people so they don't just do all HIIT or all strength, right? And you have such a nice variety on the YouTube channel, on your site. So you've been on the online space for years, and you alluded to this earlier that like with COVID happening, that was a little bit of a silver lining to you, right? Allowing you to grab more users or more clients. So what have you seen in your space, for the last 12, 15 months here?
Yeah. Initially it was kind of scary because it was like, oh no, what's going to happen? All these, transitions and things are happening. But yeah, we fortunately really saw more eyeballs because people were being forced to work out at home. So I think there was a period of time where people they decided like either they were going to take time off because the gyms were closed, or they were going to be forced to find a new outlet, and that was working out at home, right? And so it started with just body weight, no equipment, and then I think people slowly have, over the last year as it's gone on, slowly started to build a home gym at home. We all know dumbbells were like unavailable for however long. So we know that people were building out their home gyms at home. And the reality is, it's like you, I had a lot of people who say, I don't work out at home. I'm not used to this, whatever. But as they started to do the workouts at home and see results, they realized, wow, I can get a shorter workout at home. I'm saving so much time. I think that's the biggest thing, especially as parents were transitioning. It's as a parent, you have the kids and now you're trying to manage all this stuff. And so the time saving piece is just such a big piece that really, I think, is what keeps people coming back for more, and having a plan. So the fact that we give you a plan to follow too, because it's not as easy necessarily to get up and work out at home in your pajamas when everyone's like eating waffles at the table in the morning. You could just like hang out and sip your coffee, but to find that motivation to go to your basement and actually do the workout. So having a plan, I think, is a really big part. Having a plan, knowing what you're going to do, it's mapped out for you. And then finding someone, whether it's me or another trainer, a trainer that just kind of like resonates with you, that you feel encouraged and motivated to come back for.
So I was just going to say, I know, you have your kids and you've kind of maybe shifted gears a little bit and are a little bit more focused on the pre-post pregnancy workouts and tips even on your website. What advice would you give those new moms or soon to be moms on how to fit those workouts in, and what types of workouts should they even be doing? I noticed that you have some specific like pregnancy workout plans, and I actually wish that I had had something like that when I was pregnant with my kids.
Yeah. I mean, going through, like, you're experiencing all these changes. You want to do what's best for the baby. And it's kind of a confusing time because there's a lot of stuff out there online and it's confusing and conflicting. Should I work out? Should I not? Can I lay on my belly? Can I not? All these things. And so, after I kind of went through so I have two kids. My first pregnancy, I didn't put out as much pregnancy content because I wanted to experience it for myself. And then the second time around, I was like, okay, I personally went through this. I'm a trainer. I felt conflicted. Now I've learned and like what's out there. And I searched for workout videos myself when I was pregnant. And honestly, it was all this kind of like, lift your leg, make sure you breathe. And I was like, listen, I worked out prior to pregnancy. Like, I came into this pretty fit, and now you're telling me to drop all the weights and just do these leg lifts, and this isn't really challenging me. So I kind of set out during my second pregnancy to create workout videos that were for women who came into their pregnancies very active, with a very active lifestyle, and whether they were athletes previously or whatever. To challenge them. I mean, because you're pregnant doesn't mean that you have to stop exercising. Actually, in fact, strength training, so a lot of are just like, drop the weights, do these leg lifts. And actually, strength training is so important for pregnancy because weight gain is a natural part of pregnancy, right? You're going to gain weight. You're growing another human. So if you stop strength training, ultimately, you are going to be your weakest at your heaviest. That means you are setting yourself up for back pain, all these like natural ailments and aches and pains that come with pregnancy. Yes, because you're now heavier than you've ever been, and you don't have the muscle to support this heavier body. And so strength training is just so important for pregnancy, for recovery, for so many reasons. So if you're capable and able to, I highly suggest strength training for pregnancy. So I decided to create strength workouts for mamas, put them into a program. And that's actually the number one way that people find us is they search advanced pregnancy workouts on Google. We pop up, they jump into our plan. They're a first-time mom. They love it. Then they come around, they stick around for postpartum. So I would say strength training is the name of the game. If you're pregnant, if you are capable and able, of course, you always need to check with your doctor or midwife. And then postpartum, give yourself grace. I think every mom goes through that period of like, oh no, this new body, what do I do with it? Those first workouts postpartum are so humbling. And rebuilding strength, it takes time. I'm now 16 months postpartum. It always takes me 13 to 14 months to really find my rhythm again. It just takes time.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of postpartum, I heard you talking about diastasis recti or recti, however you say it, on another podcast. And this is a term that I really didn't hear about until probably maybe 5 years after having my third child. And I wish I had known about that so much earlier, because I feel like I could have potentially done some of those pelvic floor exercises and work to reverse that issue. And I'm wondering if you can talk about this a little more and what you recommend for moms who are trying to either avoid that if you can, or reverse it.
Yeah, it's never too late. So know that it is never too late. You can always work on your core and pelvic floor. And I would, same thing, like first pregnancy, didn't really know, postpartum, didn't really know, tried to figure that out. I was like, is there a gap? Is there not a gap? It's kind of like this, they send you home from the doctor and it's like, good luck. There's no instruction manual, figure it out on your own. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as a pelvic floor physical therapist until my second go around. Obviously, physical fitness and teaching is part of my job. And so I wanted to make sure that I came back physically in the best possible state, because I need to film workout videos. This is how I make a living. So I set myself up for success by just like, I'm going to go see a physical therapist the second time around. I'm going to just start working on this core and pelvic floor. I learned so much throughout the process. And my goal is really just to bring those exercises to women for free. So we have Diastasis Recti friendly and safe exercises on our site. And every new workout video that we produce, we really try to be cognizant, knowing that a lot of our viewers are moms, about talking about that and how to engage your core properly, and just continuing to educate. Because the reality is there's all this like, incontinence. Is it okay if I pee my pants during jumping jacks and all these things? And it's like, so, right. It's a reality for a lot of women. Like,
yes, it is.
But the thing is there is a way to fix it, right? You need to strengthen your pelvic floor and your core. And if you don't do it now, you're going to pay later. So you can get by right now. I could get by if I didn't do my pelvic floor exercises. To be honest, they're boring, right? They're not that exciting. Like sitting here doing pelvic floor and deep transverse abdominal breathing is not as nearly as exciting as a fun bar or HIIT workout. It's just not. They're boring. But they're important, because if I don't do them now, I'm going to pay later, because our hormones play such a big role in our bodies, especially as women. So our hormones, my estrogen help, and my progesterone help basically keep my ligaments and my joints a little bit tighter and firmer. So right now it's okay. I'll kind of make it by. Maybe I'll pee my pants during some jumping jacks. That's okay. But once I hit menopause and my estrogen levels completely drop, there goes. So if I was already peeing my pants, now I'm fully going to pee my pants. So it's kind of like, if you don't do it now, you're going to pay for it later.
Okay. So I'm in the later phase, right? I mean, I'm in my mid to late 40s. I've had 3 kids. My oldest is 15. Lindsay, what can I do? Is there any help for me right now? Because I've thought about finding a physical therapist, and it's sort of on my list. I said, okay, maybe in 2021, I'll add that to my self-care and just health journey. But what is there any, is all hope,
No, I love that you asked this question. We're going to do a fun exercise. Everybody that's listening right now can totally do this, because it's one, I love tangible resources. When I listen to a podcast, I'm like, give me something I can take away and do daily.
Yes,
so we are going to do this, you guys. Okay. So
perfect.
Here is what it is. This is called the volume up and volume down exercise. My pelvic floor PT taught me this, and it's something that I think has just been foundational for me personally. So basically it's easiest if you start laying down, and then you progress to sitting up, and then you progress to standing. Okay. So if you're like level 1 basic, you can even get on your back right now, but if you're driving your car, whatever, just stay seated. So what you are going to do is pretend there is a blueberry on the ground, and you are going to pick up that blueberry with your lady parts, but you're going to do it in a slow and controlled manner. So you're going to pick it up and you're going to go 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50, 60, 70, 75. Let's hold at 75. Okay. The thing I learned about the pelvic floor is it's never 100%. We'll talk about that. Okay. Now the hard part, you're holding it, right? Like you should almost be shaking. This is a hard thing to do. The hard part is you're going to let it go down. You're going to slowly lower that blueberry down to the ground. So you're going to go 70, 60. Don't let it drop. 50, 40, 30. A lot of people are dropping out right now. They're just like bottoming out, right? So that's the whole goal, is to it's really hard to control it on the way down. That's actually where a lot of muscle building happens. You do a bicep curl, the way up and the way down is the eccentric motion. The eccentric motion is where the muscle building happens. It's the same thing with the pelvic floor. So controlling it on the way down is really important. But I'm like an all out or nothing person. I'm like, give me that HIIT workout. I'm going to go. But so when I went to my pelvic floor PT, she was like, okay, do a Kegel for me. And she's doing an internal examination so she can feel. And I'm like, I'm doing it. And she's like, no, you're basically just squeezing your butt really hard. Like, you're letting all the other muscles take over.
That's why I'm wondering, how do you even know if you're doing it right? Like, I feel like I'm tightening all the muscles in my core, like in my belly. And how do you know you're doing it right? And now we will take a quick break from this episode to hear a word from our sponsor. Have you been thinking about a new home build, remodel, or even rework of a smaller space in your home? We have all spent more time in our homes over the past year, and many people are trying to recreate spaces in their homes to bring more joy and functionality to fit their lifestyles. It can be really hard to know where to turn, but Sarah and Marcy, co-founders of Chisel Architecture, are the experts that will help you gain clarity and confidence around your project.
One of the unique aspects of Chisel Architecture that sets them apart from others is their trademark design approach called Pattern of Life. This approach is a game changer for homeowners and how they experience the design process. Marcy and Sarah really listen to you to fully understand your needs and advocate for you during both the design and implementation process. When you think about your home environment and how it supports you, Chisel Architecture believes your overall well-being should be in the mix.
Sarah and Marcy want you to live well in your home. Because they are so passionate on their design approach, they have a special offer for our listeners. Book a 2-hour consultation and receive $50 off.
Simply email them at hello@chiselarc.com. That's at HELLO@CHISELARCH.com. And mention the Art of Living Well podcast to receive your $50 off. Consultations must be booked by June 30th to take advantage of this offer.
Exactly. So honestly, it can sound scary because it is intimate. Like, you have to have an internal exam with a pelvic floor PT. But if you have that capacity, I think it's worth an investment. Because it taught me a lot. Like, I learned how to actually activate my pelvic floor versus my butt, and all my strong muscles were taking over versus my tiny pelvic floor muscles that needed to rebuild and re-strengthen. But one way is just take 2 fingers, place them inside your hip bones. Okay. So if you push like 2 fingers right inside your hip bones, it should be a little bit squishy, but now you're going to inhale, belly expands, exhale. Think about pulling your hip bones together, and it should get really taut right there. Does it get really taut right there? Now hold that and then try and pick up the blueberry with just your lady parts. I mean, it's tricky business.
I'm like, I hold my breath.
Wow.
No, yeah, that's the thing, right? You got to keep breathing through it. Yeah, it's a process.
So what kind of PT does this?
A pelvic floor PT. So
I've never heard of that.
Yes. There are physical therapists that specialize in pelvic floor. So they deal with women they deal with women while they're pregnant to teach you how to have a successful labor and delivery without tearing and all those things. So you can see them while you're pregnant. You can see them when you're postpartum. You can see them at any point in time if you're having pain with intercourse or any type of issues going on down there. A lot of the work I did was actually for my hemorrhoids. So I had diastasis recti, so I had a 3-finger separation. So that means insurance covers you to see a pelvic floor PT if you have DR. So that's why I went, because it was covered by insurance too. But I worked on healing my DR, but we actually worked a lot more on my hemorrhoids, more than anything, learning how to have a successful bowel movement without having a lot of hemorrhoid pain and just things like that. So it's stuff that we don't talk about really. It's not common. You don't really talk about it.
Yes. Like, why didn't, I guess it was 15 years ago, but my OB didn't say anything of this. We didn't talk about, yes, Kegels were discussed and that's it, but not how to effectively do them. And right. I've had friends that have gone to PT for pelvic floor, and I have thought about it. It's just like, finding time for one more thing, but I need to make it a priority.
Right. Well, and it's interesting because, like I said, I have that diastasis recti or whatever. And when I've looked into, how I can get that fixed, I've been told, you just have to have a tummy tuck. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to have a tummy tuck. Like, I'm not doing that.
No,
that scares me.
So there's a lot of exercises you can do. We actually have a blog post called 8 exercises to heal DR on our site. Okay. You can check out. I can give it to you guys so you can link it in the show notes. But one of this, the main, you can definitely start to heal it at home on your own. But I would say this. So how do you know, like, how do you know if you have it? We actually have a post, how to check yourself for DR at home, where my pelvic floor PT walks you through a video of how to check yourself for DR to know if you actually have it or not. Because you can have the abdominal separation, which is what a lot of women have, but it's actually about the tension you can generate across that separation with your linea alba. So the tension underneath, which would be your transverse abdominals, that you can generate to close that gap is actually to determine if you have it or not. That said, exercise, how do you know to avoid an exercise? If you see any coning or doming in your midsection. So if you see the midsection start to come to a point when you're planking, any of that, that means you should avoid it. It doesn't mean you're never going to be able to do it again. It means you're not ready for it yet.
Oh,
wow. This is super helpful. We will definitely link up the video and the blog post.
yeah. And I would love to get the name for local people if you recommend the PT to link that up also.
I saw Dr. Jen, and she works at Motion MN. So Motion Physical Therapy in Minnesota. She's out of the Minnetonka location. She's absolutely phenomenal. Dr. Jen was so awesome to work with. I can't recommend her enough. She was just so educational. That was a lot of the reason I went, is I just wanted to educate myself. But just so educational in the couple times I saw her.
Yes. Okay. She's going to get a lot of,
I'm calling her. That's fantastic. Okay. So let's change gears a little bit and talk about meal prep. I love the amazing recipes and mealtime inspiration on your site. And do you develop all your own recipes?
So we haven't posted a recipe in probably a while. We've really shifted into the fitness space. But when I first started, I was sharing a lot of recipes. And when I was pregnant, I shared a little bit more because I couldn't film quite as many workout videos too. But yeah, just kind of like, I take spin, I work off, I have some favorite food bloggers that I follow and use their recipes, and then kind of like create some of my own. Basically what I do is take people's recipes and really simplify them. As a busy mom, I'm all about like the 30-minute sheet pan, the one dish, the less dishes possible, the better. But yeah, really, meal prep is something I established in my life prior to having kids, which I think is really foundational. So prior to having kids, and when I was in like my, learning about fitness, I decided to enter these fitness competitions, which, you have to be really stringent about what you eat. Nutrition, actually, most people don't want to hear this, but nutrition is 80% of what you look like, basically. So if you're on a weight loss journey, whatever that is, nutrition is 80%, fitness is 10%, genetics is 10%. So at the end of the day, it comes down to what you're putting in your mouth. And so I learned about meal prep really early because I was traveling, doing sales, all these things. I was prepping sheet pans of chicken and tilapia and asparagus in little plastic bags and taking it with me everywhere. Because I was on this like super strict diet for fitness competition. So I learned about meal prep. I'm really glad I went through that because it established meal prep in me prior to having kids. So now it's just kind of something that's part of my life. Before having kids, I would spend maybe like 2 or 3 hours on Sunday. And now it's more just like random time slots of fitting meal prep in when I can. I don't spend all day Sunday doing it. It's not sustainable. So my biggest thing is if I'm doing I'm sitting literally, I could show you guys you can see video. I have a big crock pot sitting next to me that I just started for dinner. But anytime I'm going to put something, I'm just like bulking it, double batching it. So I can throw half of that in the freezer and an easy pull out meal for a busy weeknight. Love having that stuff. And anytime I make anything on a sheet pan, I typically double the sheet pan. Like if I'm going to cut 1 sweet potato, I might as well cut 3 sweet potatoes, right?
Absolutely. Although now I have to cut like 6 of them because I've got like, bigger people to feed. So 3 won't cover it, but I totally agree. I love those meal prep tip ideas, Lindsay. What's your favorite go-to meal? Like the sheet, like you mentioned, like sheet pan.
Yes, it would be exactly that. I was just going to say we make it once a week. So my like goal, fortunately my husband, they're very graceful with me. Like we have a very similar meal plan. Every week, I just mix it up, you guys. So like every week we're going to have tacos. 1 week they're going to be salmon. 1 week they're going to be chicken. 1 week they're going to be beef. 1 week they're going to be shrimp. Like I just mix up the protein basically, and maybe a seasoning or a different sauce. But every week we have this, we call it one pan. It's our one pan chicken typically, but you could do it with pork. You could do a pork loin. You can do chicken thighs because they're juicier. We use chicken thighs versus chicken breasts. But basically, throw those on a sheet pan with whatever veggies you have in your house, sweet potatoes, green beans, carrots, whatever you have, throw it in a sheet pan. I always, like I said, double batch that sheet pan in the oven for 30 minutes at 425 degrees. and you get a beautiful 1-pan meal that feeds everybody and everyone's happy. But I think honestly what it comes down to is the seasoning. So we just mix up the seasoning on it every week. We love paleo powder seasonings. I found them. They're amazing. They have different flavors. They're like clean and simple and delicious.
I've never heard of those seasonings.
Yeah, they just started coming up and popping up there. I think they're like in Hy-Vee's now, and they're in Whole Foods now, and they're Trader Joe's also has a lot of fun seasonings that you can throw on too. But yeah, a little seasoning and done. Everybody's happy, and there's always leftovers.
Yes.
That's so nice. Unfortunately in my house, like I also have teenagers and they want more variety than that. So
yes.
The expectations are a little higher. But
yes.
Yeah. So Lindsay, what are some of your self-care practices?
Oh man, something I'm probably always going to be working on. For me, obviously working out, fitness is a big part of me. I think it's just like my mental, makes me a better mom. It makes me more patient. I believe pushing myself physically helps me deal with all that mentally hard stuff. So after I accomplish like a really good, tough workout, and then my 3-year-old son throws dinner on the floor because he doesn't want to eat it, I think it just makes me a more patient person, able to deal with that. So fitness is a big mental outlet for me. Obviously for me right now, I'm in the season of motherhood. So just like shutting off my phone from 4 to 7 and saying, this is family time, no distractions, no interruptions. Like I don't cure cancer for work. Like if a post doesn't go live or if someone doesn't get an answer between 4 and 7, that is okay. So just trying to, turn off work and those things that eliminate distractions, enjoy that quality family time, which we've all gotten more of with COVID.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. I wish, that doesn't happen in my house, the 4 to 7 thing, but it would be nice if it did.
Well, I think even just an hour, doing some sort of downtime, disconnect, and really truly being present with your family is a half hour of quality time is better than 3 hours of being scattered around, being with your kids, but not really present. Right.
Yeah. And for me, it's like when I made the decision to really, it's this, I think every mom goes through this. Like, am I making the right decision to be a working mom or a stay-at-home mom? And whatever you choose is right for you and your family during that season. My kids used to be part-time school, and I would try to spend, like my parents would help out on Mondays kind of for like and then I'd get more time with them. And then on Fridays, I'd totally take off. And my business, just in order to grow, I really had to say, I need to do this full time. But when I made that commitment to send my kids to school full time, I was like, okay, I'm committing to sending my kids full time. So that means like 4 to 7 is with my kids. Like this is, if they're going to be at school full time and I'm going to be dedicated to working, I'm going to grow my business and I'm going to work my butt off, but I'm also going to be really dedicated to getting this quality time with my kids. So it wasn't this like haphazard, helter skelter, trying to work, trying to be mom. Cause I lived in that bubble for too long and it was too stressful for me.
Absolutely. And that time, that concentrated time is so important with the kids. And I think it actually gets, in the pandemic, it's been easier for me in our house to make that happen because as your kids get older, you'll see that they're racing to activities and there's a lot going on in that 4 to, I'd say almost 9 p.m. time frame. Whereas right now things are a little quieter. So it is easier to get that one-on-one time or that concentrated focus time. So Lindsay, as we start to wrap things up, we love to leave our listeners with some simple tips that they can use immediately to implement into their lives. What tips would you share?
Yeah, well, of course you can get a free workout or a free workout plan. So I always say have a plan. I'm a firm believer in a plan. So we've actually created like a 7-day workout plan, a 14-day or a 30-day. So you can start bite-sized with a week. You can go up to 2 weeks, or you can go to 30 days. You can get all these free workout plans on my site at nourishmovelove.com. And you can go download one today and get some free workouts and just start establishing an at-home fitness routine if that is for you. I'm all about having a multifaceted fitness routine too. So, take a group fitness class when you can, do an at-home workout class when you can, have a couple different resources to keep it fun and interesting for you. So I definitely think having a plan is important. That's why we created those free workout plans. And then, I think finding out, like, watch that video. Do I have DR or not? Like, answering those questions for yourself and just building, if you're, a more confident postpartum version of yourself, I think. And, strength training is a way to do that. I believe that doing physically hard things makes you mentally tougher too. So.
Yeah, those are great tips. And actually, before we end this conversation, I just want to have a funny observation. You had said early on how most of your followers are women, right? And a lot of moms. So I happened to be walking with a friend the other day and we were talking about our favorite at-home workouts. And she said that her husband, I won't say because he may be listening, he does sometimes listen to our podcast, that he has been regularly doing your workouts since the start of COVID. And I don't even think she, the wife, necessarily was the one who introduced him to Nourish, Move, Love, but I don't know if he found it on his own, but he does it regularly. And so he's like laughs about it. He's like, oh, I'm probably like the only guy doing these workouts. And he's like fit in shape, athletic. But then he kind of walks around the house reciting some of your common phrases, like, the holy bananas and like some of these like mom phrases. He's like, walking around. So just remember that you do have some male followers.
And I totally love that. And we even have some workouts that are titled like 7 best strength training exercises for women. And I get questions all the time. Can I do this if I'm a guy? And I'm like, yes, the only reason it says for women is so we can rank higher in Google search. Because if you search for women, we are the top exercise. So we are playing off that and we're doing it for SEO search purposes on Google. But all the workouts are totally accessible to men. And I love that guys do them. I love when women rope their husbands in because they're hard. A lot of men do heavy strength training, but they don't raise their heart rate in that they don't work on muscular endurance where we're like pairing back to back exercises because we are getting efficient 30-minute workouts. There's not a lot of rest and recovery. So I think it's awesome. I love that guys do the workouts and I think it's awesome.
Well, and you could put "and men" in parentheses in your.
Right. There we go. Maybe we should add like "and men."
And maybe you'll even grab more people in your Google search results. You never know.
There you go. Right.
So Lindsay, as we wrap up this conversation, one question we like to ask all our guests is, what does the art of living well mean to you?
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys, I love that it's called the art of living well. I think that's something we're all striving for is this like living well, right? And it's just one big balancing act. So I feel like as a mom, there's times when I feel like I'm crushing my workouts and I'm crushing my work, but maybe my family life is slipping and I feel like a bad mom who missed her niece. Like there's moments that pop into my head when I missed my niece's 3rd birthday because I thought it was at 1 versus 11, like all these things, like you always feel like you're failing kind of in one area. But ultimately, it comes down to kind of what I named my company, why I did Nourish, Move, Love. I personally believe the art of living well is nourishing your soul with God's word and your body with good food, moving your body to create movement in your life, and loving yourself and others unconditionally. So that's kind of what it boils down to for me.
That's beautiful. That's so perfect. It just summarizes this whole conversation. And I love the name of your business.
I do too. I was just going to say it's a great name and it really it seems to encompass you. So it fits very well.
But yeah. It's kind of a mouthful, but we've shortened it to NML. I mean, yeah.
And I love what you have going on behind you. I keep seeing little pieces of it. If you step aside, I think it says, eat, drink, give thanks. That's really cute.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I've been trying
cute
to see what it says. I was getting like little parts of it.
Yeah. We're in the kitchen. That's our little kitchen wall decor.
Yeah. Love it.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming on our show today. I'm excited to try some of your workouts because I actually haven't. So after this conversation, I'm going to head over to Nourish, Move, Love and sign up.
I love it. I would love to know. Stephanie, you've done one, you said, right?
I've done a lot. Yeah, I've done several.
What's your favorite?
Oh, gosh. Anything with strength. I need a strength workout. And right now, I'm just personally the last year or two haven't been doing a lot of HIIT. So I love that your workouts, I can easily modify and you make modifications. You instruct if you don't want to do the jump squats, what you can do. So any of the workouts, I actually love that the ones that don't repeat. So you have quite a few that are 30 minutes and we're not going to repeat a single movement, maybe just like right side, left side.
Yeah.
And some of the unilateral movements. So yeah.
I love it. I always love asking people. I'm like, what's your favorite workout? Because it's different for everybody. So
yeah. Yes. Excited to do more.
Good.
All
I mean,
right,
the best
well-
workout you can do is one you're actually going to do. So
Right.
Exactly. Whatever is gonna, motivate you to wake up or step on the mat and get a good workout and be happy. Yes, it's the one for you. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lindsay. Have a great day.
thank you guys. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you so much for listening to the Art of Living Well podcast. We are so grateful that you joined us today.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or anyone else you think may benefit from this information. We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and tag the Art of Living Well podcast on social media.
If you want more inspiration in between episodes, you can find us on social media at theartofliving_well on Instagram and Facebook, where we will share snippets from our daily lives and our journey to living well.